Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is sort of an open letter to Bill Maher, which I'm sure he'll never see.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Bill Maher, for me, was a man who absolutely changed my life and changed the way I processed information and the way I thought about things. Through his comedy, his shows, his movie Religulous completely changed my viewpoints on a lot of things. So I was very surprised here recently when it came out about his blog statements about Stan Lee and how Stan Lee did nothing but inspire people to watch a movie, and how Donald Trump could only be elected in a country where comic books are seen as important. As a fan, a former fan of Bill Maher's, I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked that these are his statements and viewpoints on comic books. And stating that it's for children, where yes, a lot of comic books are very much for children, but I don't believe things like Black Cat being raped was meant or written for children. Comic books actually deal with very, very, very realistic and everyday problems. And that's the thing that Stan Lee brought to comic books, is what's behind the mask. What was Spider-Man doing when he wasn't saving the world? Showing that these superheroes is the everyday man. These superheroes is everyone. They have problems like everyone. They have to pay their bills. I mean, like, in issues where Spider-Man, was a fighter to pay his bills, it shows the struggle of everyday man. And not only that, but he fought racism and bigotry before it was cool to fight racism and bigotry. I don't understand how you don't see that. I mean, maybe you haven't picked up a comic since, 1959 or something. But comic books very much shaped the way an entire generation, several generations actually, the way they think about things and moralize things. I mean, with great power comes great responsibility. That's more than just a catchphrase. It's a moral. And the X-Men was the epitome of the civil rights movement. Not only that, but he helped equality through creating characters such as the Black Panther, one of the first black superheroes. I just personally, as a fan, and as someone who thought I kind of got how you thought, I don't see how you could be so far removed from this subject. You alienated a whole huge part of your fan base, is what I'm saying here when you came out with that. I don't know if maybe Stan Lee dying took the spotlight away from something you had planned or something, and it was just you're mad, so you decided to throw that out there, but no, that's not cool. It's not right. I mean, yeah, you can have your opinion, you always do, but you really don't sound like you know what you're talking about. I mean, no, this isn't Stan Lee, but go over to The Walking Dead, something very famous, something I'm sure everyone watching this has heard about. You think the show is bad? The graphic novel is so much worse and more adult. And I mean, there are some very graphic rape scenes in the graphic novel. That is not for kids. That is in no way for kids. And, going beyond rape, there's just so many problems like drug addiction and things of that nature that these characters have to deal with and struggle with. And as a child, some children grow up seeing a lot of this going on with the adults around them, and these comics help them learn how to digest that. You know, like with things like drug addiction, you know, it lets them know, it kind of educates them on how to digest that in a child-friendly way. And they're enjoyable for adults. I just really hope you end up rethinking this, maybe educating yourself a little bit on the subject. Pick up some comic books that goes beyond the 50s, you know, like the golden age of the comics of the 60s, and see how the very people you're preaching to, Stan Lee, helped form them. Stan Lee helped to give them the open mind that they have to digest the things that you are talking about. And I know that sounds like a mind blow to you, but when you're trying to turn, like, you know, anyone that's not an atheist, first off, to your side or see your point, they need some sort of open mind. Well, comics kind of help with that. And maybe that might be sort of a bad example, but, like, Stan Lee kind of implemented into them the ability to look past race. He gave people the ability to look past race in a non-offensive way. And he basically did the same thing you're doing, just in a whole different way, through an art form. You know, you're more of a news guy and straight and to the point. And he shaped and enlightened minds through an art form. Through art. Through the art of storytelling. And his wonderful drawings. And I just think it was disrespectful. I think it was very, very disrespectful. I think that you wanted people's attention on someone else, and you threw crap at Stan Lee because the attention was on him, because a great legend had died. So whether you like it or not, he was an absolute legend that I have no doubt will live on probably for hundreds of years. I say his comics will probably be reprinted and reprinted and reprinted and reprinted, and they will make it into the future. Okay? He will live on. I don't know if that's absolutely true for you. Maybe you will, because you have a very long, and I loved your career up to this point. I love what you do up to this point. Usually, I don't 100% agree with everything that Bill Maher says, but I do agree with a lot of what Bill Maher says, and not this one. That was just completely disrespectful. He's not even here to defend himself anymore. And in no way in hell that comic books are the reason why Donald Trump got elected. I usually try to stay away from this subject because I don't want to alienate anyone in my audience. Okay? Because I don't see Donald Trump voters as bad people. I may not be for Donald Trump, but just because they voted for them, not 100% of them agree with 100% of what he says or what he does. Okay? And a lot of people have even turned against him since then. So, a lot of people haven't, but a lot have. And a lot of people very close to me in my life did vote for him, or was for him and didn't vote. So, I try not to talk about it very much, but in my opinion, it had absolutely nothing to do with comic books. It had to do with PC culture. And a lot of people, I know a lot of the people that I know that personally voted for him, it was because of things like jobs, the economy, and where the racism would come in would be them feeling attacked. The Obama era hatched a whole beautiful, beautiful thing of equality. The equality part of the Obama era was beautiful. But there is a thin, thin line between equality and battering, harassment, making the other side feel attacked. And that's how a lot Caucasian people felt was very attacked, which made Donald Trump, someone like Donald Trump, seem very, very appealing to them. I've talked to a lot of people that said that they felt personally attacked or ended up getting personally attacked in places like the workplace and things of that nature. And that's what caused it. Nothing else. Nothing else, really. It drove people to the polls. It drove them to oppose. Fear drove them to the polls. He ran an entire fear campaign, plus the other side ran an entire fear campaign, and that was just the whole basis of this election, was to scare the public into voting for your side. And that is what got Donald Trump elected. That's in my opinion. I usually don't try to touch it, but it sure as hell was not comic books or Stan the Man Lee. That's just my 2 cents on it. Yeah, so I don't know if I'll keep up with this, but I was thinking about starting a segment called Prick of the Month. And this month, I have to say Bill Maher would get Prick of the Month. Just on the basis of talking so much about someone who is not even here to defend himself anymore. I mean, maybe it's just a southern thing, because I am from the south. Maybe it's just a southern thing, but we find that very disrespectful here, to talk about the deceased in that way. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but that's how I was raised. So I find it disrespectful. I find it disrespectful as hell. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm going to end this. I just want to talk a little bit on that subject. If you like this and you want to see more content like this, give this video a thumbs up. Share this out to all your good friends. And if you're new here, subscribe. Should be like down there somewhere, or maybe up there, depending on what device you're on. Hit that bell button, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
YouTube has just demonetized all of my videos, so please help support the creator by checking out my merch store. Novaland is a store where you can find t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, iPhone cases, and many designs designed by me. As well, a Peculiar Occurrence fan? Well, I've opened up a store just for you. So head on over and buy your Peculiar Occurrence gear today. Links are in the description box below. Thank you.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.